Hey everybody, it's Anthony Brogdon. It's your main man, the producer of what I believe will be the blockbuster, the award-winning, the life-changing, altering movie Foot Soldiers, which deals with a teenager growing up without his father. And so I'm connecting with mentors across the country because I honestly believe mentorship is the answer. And so I have a gentleman on the channel today that is a heavy, heavy hitter out of his town. Everybody know him, they love him, they know he's doing good because it's in his heart to do this. This has become his calling. And I can feel it as he and I have spoken before I hit record. So come on, brother, tell us your name, about the organization that you work with, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, good. Thank you for that gracious introduction. Made me feel like somebody.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Dwayne Bennett, and let me just tell you, my primary website, if you want to know anything about me, is www.dwaynebennett.com. So it's easy for you to remember, Dwayne Bennett. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about mentoring is myself. As I look back through my life, I've had mentors that helped me get from level to level throughout. And specifically, as a part of my business, I've been working with one organization for at least between 15 and maybe 20 years, 17 years, something in that area. It was Virginia Mentoring Partnership, now it's Mentor VA. And what I do specifically for them is that I train mentors on the best practice of mentoring. I help organizations establish their programs from idea to completion as a technical consultant. And then I go around the country and around the world. That's Cuba right there. Around the country and around the world, talking about mentoring, talking about success in general, and just being a lighthouse, if you will, in the world to spread this world, as we don't get anywhere on our own. We always have someone to help us get to our next level. We always have someone to help us get there. And the mentor, if you will, is the person that's never heard about. It's the person that's never seen. It's the person that's behind the scene that's pushing the mentee to their next level. And because I've become a person of success because of my mentors, then that's one of my ways of giving back to the community, is to train mentors, is to train on best practices and programs, and to speak at these organizations when I get opportunity.
Well, let me ask you this. When you say train them, give me an example. You train them how? I mean, I know do discussion, but is there a specific, the more common areas that they might need training in?
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's two things. Some people say some things are taught and some things are caught. Okay. Now, traditional mentoring is when we expect the mentee to catch things, meaning that, hey, we'll take them out with us, we'll take them to programs, we'll just hang around and do certain things together. And hopefully, right, through our interaction, through our talk with the mentee, they'll catch life principles, they'll catch certain things. That's the traditional way. Now, when we're going into this new age, it's more intentional about the things that the mentor needs to know in order to get the best out of their mentee. For example, is making a connection. No one is going to trust you unless you make that connection, show that your heart is in it, show that you're going to be there. So one of the things is the consistency of having what I call a communication plan, meeting at the same time, meeting the same day of the week, mean by the same mode. Also, we're looking at in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging concepts that we interject into our mentor training now that shows that, hey, there is a connection between who you are is important, and we honor who you are from that standpoint. Also, communication techniques. This is a fast and busy world. So when you're with your mentee, we have to make sure you're using effective communication, strength-based communication, inspirational communication in order to move that mentee along faster. So what it is pulling things from my standpoint, making mentee less of an art, more of a science, but more impact when based on the mentor-mentee relationship. So when I'm talking about training, that's what I'm talking about, some of those best practices.
I guess the question that just came to mind is a mentor different than a parent? And can a parent employ mentor techniques?
Yes, 100%. And that's a super question. It's an awesome question that comes up a lot, because this is the key. This is where it should be. What best practices, the best case world, the ideal world is you have a strong, engaged, focused parent. But then the mentor comes in and supplements the things that the parent does, and or may fill some gaps in some things that if the parent is involved in other things, has to work a lot, may not be involved in the family as much, then the mentor can supplement those things. So you'll see a lot of overlap between a parental, if you will, parental guidance and mentor guidance. But then the mentor comes in and provides a separate and distinct and objective ear, if you will, and time that is different from the parent. So yes, they're overlapping, but I always see the mentor as supplemental as opposed to the primary persons in the young person's life or in the older person's life.
I got you. What would you say is a success model for a mentor? If I mean, other than the mentee, I like my man, he okay, or she's okay, or something like that. What would you say if that you could measure his or her success providing this volunteerism for a mentee?
That's awesome. That's a great question, and that's why we're talking about training. When we're talking about training, we're being intentional. Here we go, about a mentee's goals, dreams, and aspirations. So the research says if you just spend 1 hour a week in the life of a youth at the appropriate time, or a time when they're trying to move, then you can make an impact on their life over that 9 to 12 month period. So during that time, here you go. What do you want to measure? Do you want to measure character? Do you want to measure grades? Do you want to measure community service? Do you want to just measure get into on their next level in their life? So when I'm talking about a trained mentor, here we go to come back to that. We're saying, hey, I'm coming into this mentee life, we'll say in January. And then intentionally by September or the fall or the end of the year, hey, you have less, if you will, challenges in school. We'll say, yeah, you have better grades. We'll say, yes, maybe you have gotten a job you didn't have before. So what we'll do is pick out one, and I always say pick out 1 or 2 goals that you can accomplish over a specific segment of time, and you focus in on that. But we also know that the life principles and things will come up during that time that you're focusing on one specific area. And let me give you a real world example. I've been a mentor trainer, and I've also been a mentor for an organization called Partnership for the Future. This is their goal: help high school students, right, get into college. So how do you measure that? Real simple. As a mentor, did that mentee get into college? If they did, then you have a measure of success. If they did not, it's not that you don't have a measure of success. You're saying we've accomplished these things. And if it's 5 things, we'll accomplish 3, but then there's 2 more we need to accomplish before that mentee can get into college. So the measurement is based on the dreams, the goals, the aspirations of the mentee, and the mentor helps them get there. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I asked in these interviews, I asked everybody, what has a mentee said to you that just blew your mind as a result of a mentorship relationship?
You know what? That goes right to the heart of mentoring. And the thing that really got me was I was mentoring a elementary school student. Matter of fact, I went back to the school that I went to when I was in elementary school, was Blackwell Elementary School. And I was mentoring a young man in the school. And on the 3rd visit, we always, I established rapport, and then we used to write out, I would have him write out 3 different smiley faces. One is a smiling face if I'm having a good day. One to be a cross line if I'm not having that good of a day. And then one face to be a sad face. And then they could tell me exactly where he was. Before we would get to our exercise, he was crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? What's going on? He said, because you came back. He said, you came back. He said, you're the only one in my life. And this, I think it was a 4th or 5th grade. It's been a while back. He said, you're the only one in my life that did what you said you would do. You came back every week. We talked about the things that we want to talk about. You helped me along the way. And just your presence of just coming back, keeping that commitment has caused my life to be better. Now I'm paraphrasing what he said because it was in the he was a younger guy, but that was the whole point. The point of just showing up, just want to keep coming back. That was so impactful to me that I spent a lot of time in my training on keeping the commitment. You might not learn anything else, but if you're supposed to meet that mentee on Tuesdays at 1:30 at their school, be there, and it'll make all the difference in the world.
What would you say if we had how many more men? Let's just pick in your city, and you could probably do nationally. If we had how many more men became mentors, what would you say the crime rate? And I'm using that as a measure. How much would that go down or be reduced if there were men and there were more mentors?
Okay, now good. See, that leads to an organizational question. And here we go. What the organizational research says that it only takes 5% movement in a culture to move the culture. See, people think it takes a whole lot to move a culture. And this is what I mean. A teacher I was talking to at a training I was doing across town, Armstrong High School, and they had about, I think it was running around 1,000 to 1,200 students. This is what she said to me. She said, it's only about 40 to 50 of them interrupting the whole school dynamic, the whole school culture. So it only takes a small amount to move the culture. Now, how do we use that same statistics to mentoring? Where in terms of the crime rate, it doesn't take us to have to make a big movement in everyone that's handling crime or involved in crime. Is to have a mentor for the mentees that's involved or want to get out. And that small number, right, will move the crime statistics down, because now we're looking for a positive result as opposed to a negative result in the crime area as we move along. So the impact of mentoring that can have on a crime level, if we have enough male mentors in comparison to the number of, if you say, we'll say crime behaviors, right, 5 to 10%, it can move the needle downward toward moving the crime rate down, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I love it. I got another one. Since you're an expert, now I'm looking at you like this. How about this? What do you think is dynamic from white guys mentoring Black youth? Is that okay or whatever?
Yeah, and it's interesting that you would bring that up, because this is the key. If you have mentors, I don't care, across the board, men, women, Black, white, whatever. If your heart is open and you receive the mentee as they are, then you can have an impact. But what the movement into mentoring is moving towards to address this is you have to be in a position to receive as a mentor just as much you give. So the white person that wants to mentor the young, we'll say a white male that wants to mentor a young Black male, then he has to be open to receive, here we go, the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging aspects of that young Black male that he can receive in a way that now I'm connecting with the young Black male. I'm honoring his culture. I'm honoring his space. And this is real crucial too. I'm honoring his lived experiences. People say, Mr. Bennett, what is a lived experience? A lived experience means this. If I tell you that I haven't eaten in 2 days, and you don't have any reference to that as a white person, you got to believe that's true. Because a lot of times our counterparts or people that don't know us, they don't believe in our lived experiences because they don't have a basis for that. So if you believe in that person's lived experiences and take them as being true, now you can connect with them in a way that you can help them move the ball positively towards their goals, their dreams, and their aspirations. And I just came across this concept of lived experiences and things within the last couple of years. As you know, I'm a diversity, equity, inclusion a certified expert in that. And I think that's a lot of time the challenges that across cultures, white, Black, Latino, if you will, Chinese, a lot of times we may not give honor to, or we may not give credence to a person's lived experiences. Did this really happen to you? Because no most people don't know what it is to go out eating for 2 days.
Yeah,
Because the culture you came from.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? From the culture you came from, the background that you came from, you going through high school, colleges, all the things you've been eating all your life. Then I come to you as a college student and say, "You man, when I was in high school, I missed 2 or 3 days. We didn't have no food." And you're like, "What?"
Right.
And you think the person is lying,
right?
But you have to give honor to that lived experience. And if you do that, then it'll bring a greater connection. So that's the way I think that it makes it, I don't want to say makes it okay. I think the most impactful relationship can be between cultures, or white male and a black, a young black male, is if he really truly honors the culture, the lived experiences, but he's open, here we go, to change also. And that's where I think it makes the most sense.
I got one more question. Let's say there are really kind of two different, let's say three, but two organized mentoring components. One is a component where they pair you with a young man and he's your mentee. You and him do the one-on-one for an hour and y'all go out and do things. And usually it's not an hour. You just say that. If you go to a basketball game, as long as the basketball game, things of that sort. And then the other one is the group mentoring, where if I agree to volunteer, I don't show up one day, but there are other men there that still meet with the kids. Is there one more than effective than the other between those two?
It's if you use the term effective, and I like that you use that, then now again, we're coming more alive to when you ask me the question about training. So the effectiveness is based on being intentional about that particular goal, dream, or aspiration for that mentee. For example, I'm working with an organization called Jumpstart Mentoring. And I do, here we go, group mentoring with a group of young black men, 9th grade to 12th grade, in their school once a month. And my focus is work ethics, work experiences, work conduct, and professionalism. So what am I doing? I'm teaching them to be ready for the jobs they're going to get while they're in high school, for the jobs they're going to get once they graduate. And I am the mentor to this particular group. So we'll measure the effectiveness is, hey, did you get a job? Yes, I did. How did things go on the job? I had this challenge. I had that challenge. Let's talk about it. Let's work it out. So it's effective in that, hey, we got one particular concept or one particular area we're focusing on for the group. Now, that's the group mentoring. So that's can be effective. Then in one-on-one, of course, hey, using that same model it may be like, I just want my mentee to get a job, or my mentor just wants to get a job. So I'm one-on-one working on him. And what's the effectiveness? He gets the job, he keeps the job. So that works also. But then we also have other models. We have e-mentoring. Now in COVID and the pandemic, we have mentoring that goes on through Zoom, through these social media outlets. So those things can be effective. So the key is be intentional, right? Set the intention at the beginning of whatever the relationship is, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's group, whether it's e-mentoring, and then have a measurement of success at the end, whether it's graduation, whether it's better grades, whether or not your family relationships are better, all of those things. But now we want to measure some things as opposed to just hoping that, what I used to call the warm and fuzzies, hoping that they're a better person, they're a great person. You're going to get that, but you really need a skill set that's going to help you in this particular world and time.
Okay, well, so as we come to a close, again, tell us the name of some mentoring organizations in your town that you've worked with, and how we can find out more about you in terms of your website. Okay,
this is the easiest way, and I use me as the contact and go out into the web.
Okay,
my website is www.dwaynebennett.com. Really easy, my name. If you go there, then that'll show you the different organizations that I'm connected with, and then we can move out there. Now, specifically in the mentoring space, then I'm working with an organization called mentorvirginia.org, mentorvirginia.org. And the wonderful thing about that organization is it's an affiliate of the National Mentoring Network over the whole United States.
Yeah.
So we're here in Virginia. We're knocking it down in Virginia. I'm specifically working for them, but then me individually, I go out throughout the state and throughout the world, not only the concepts of mentoring, but also personal development, speaking, leadership. And this is one of my newest things. I hope you don't mind me throwing this in.
Yeah, please.
I'm working in the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging space with Black professionals, helping them navigate the glass ceiling. And I thank you for having an opportunity to speak about that.
Man, thank you so very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule for doing this interview with me. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna stay in contact.
Yes.
And meet you one day.
Yes, you will.
I'm gonna meet you one day. Ain't no
question.
Sooner
than later.
Yeah, sooner or later. We're gonna
be very intentional.
Yeah. We think alike. And so I appreciate you for doing this. With that, I'll say bye-bye. We out. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.